All right, welcome everybody to our webinar this evening for Bit Club Network and our new BC Trader. We are recording this and we'll be putting a link up. This webinar is going to be super important. And if you have anybody that buys the BC Trader in your downline, you need to make sure the very first thing they do is watch this webinar. We're going to be covering absolutely everything. Now, the Mega Monsters and the Monsters had first gotten access to the BC Trader and started using it. And a lot of us were all, talking together, trying to figure everything out. And some things you're going to learn tonight we did not know. Some things we guessed and we thought we understood, and then tonight you're going to learn we were completely wrong in what we were thinking. And so if somebody tries to play with this software and they don't know what they're doing, they could end up costing themselves a lot of money. So tonight we're going to get through everything to really help everybody to understand exactly what's happening. Okay, so tonight on here we have Drew and Todd. Now, Drew and Todd, I'm going to have them talk for a minute here and explain what their backgrounds are. We got really lucky, and we met these guys, and they had been working on some really next level stuff. They'll go into that in just a minute. And they got really interested in cryptocurrency. And so they started working on this platform to trade cryptocurrencies. And we were able to get in touch with them and partner up with them. And they have created something that's really special here. This is not for anybody else. This is only for Bit Club Network. And these guys really are basically our partners. It's just a team of badass programmers that we were able to team up with. And again, it's not that we're really smart or really good. We got really lucky to find these guys. And so, Drew, Todd, you guys there?
Yeah, I'm here. I think Todd's jumping on. He had some sort of hiccup this morning, but I'm here.
Okay. Hey, I can barely hear you. Can you get closer to the microphone?
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
That's a little bit better, but even closer would be even better.
Okay, give me just a second. Let's see if I can get this working nicely.
I could have, maybe my sound is just turned down. Let me try turning my sound
How about
up.
now? Have you got me good now?
Very good.
Awesome.
Okay, so I guess the first thing is, let's just talk a little bit about what your guys, who you guys are. Like, what are your backgrounds? What have you been involved with? And what were you working on before you created the BC Trader?
Yeah, that's awesome. So Todd and I have been working together for a number of years now. Both of us actually have backdrops in computer science. But we're, computer scientists by trade, have been doing that for years and years. We both started out in the cloud mobile space and then have built a more and more advanced skill set when it comes to working with big data and analytics and machine learning and sort of that subset of computer science. So we came into cryptocurrency obviously as huge believers in the value proposition and the usefulness and how it empowers people financially. But we came into it kind of from a different angle than some people, right? Looking at it from a perspective of big data and analytics. So actually, Todd and I, before we started working on cryptocurrency projects, we were working on a pretty cool project that was petabyte scale unstructured web data analysis that used basically cloud cluster computing to create reverse engineered, brand data from unstructured text available on the internet. And so that was actually what we were working on when we sort of became really passionate about cryptocurrency and ended up spending most of our day trading, Bitcoin and other currencies rather than actually working on what we were supposed to be working on, right?
Gotcha. Hey, real quick, can you share your screen with us just while you're talking so we don't just everybody send them a blank screen?
Yeah, we'd love to.
Cool.
Let me pull it up. How's that?
There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so go back into what you're saying. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So we came into, we were also working on sentiment analysis as part of that. And what we would do is we would take this unstructured web data, we'd crawl billions of web pages, we'd spin up thousands of cloud servers to simultaneously parse it, and then we'd create sentiment output. So basically we would look at how people felt on the internet about certain subjects. And we would use what's called natural language processing to help us accomplish that goal. And we were just very passionate about that. And it occurred to us, hey, we're spending a lot of time working in the, or trading and playing around with cryptocurrencies. We're deeply passionate about them. We believe in them. We believe in what they can be, what they can become, the people they can help. And all of a sudden we realized, wow, we could take all of this skill we've been building for years and this practice working with large data sets and analytics and suddenly apply that to cryptocurrency markets.
Exactly. Okay, so just to give everybody kind of an understanding, we're going to be showing a lot of different things here. And just to give you an understanding of how big this is, you might have seen that we said that there's 50 different trading pairs. And what you're going to see tonight is that's actually incorrect. The total choices that people have, how many total choices, if you gave people choices of every algorithm, every bot, how many choices are there?
Yeah, there's thousands actually. I think right now there's like roughly 4,000 to 6,000. I'd have to look at an exact number, but and as more exchanges become supported in the product, that number will only grow. And the reason for that is that we support this variety of exchanges and a variety of coins and pairings on those exchanges. And then there's a variety of algorithms. And then on top of that, there's a variety of parameters. And so you end up with this huge, this large permutation of available algorithms. And that's really cool because it gives people a lot of options, but it also lets us surface, better performing algorithms to the top, right?
Exactly. All right. So first for everybody, before we get into all the algorithms, I just want to kind of cover exactly what you can buy. So we have a 500 package, a 1,000, a 2,000, and then if you have all three, that automatically puts you in for the 3,500. So with the 500 pack, you are getting a 1-year license, and it's a yearly renewal. You will have access to use one exchange. You can pick, I think 3 different trading pairs, and a maximum trading value of $2,000. Now that can go up even at that level. We'll explain that in a minute. The 1,000 pack, you're going to have access to 2 exchanges, and then you are going to be able to do 7 trading pairs and a total of 5,000 in trading volume. The 2,000 pack will be 15,000 in trading volume, 3 exchanges, and 15 trading pairs. And then if you're a founder and you have a 3,500, it's unlimited trading pairs, unlimited exchanges, but the max volume per founder position for the $3,500 license is $100,000. And there are some other limits on trading single pairs. We'll cover that in just a few minutes. And the compensation plan is the exact same as the mining. There is no difference. So if you sign somebody as a $500 pool in the mining, and somebody in your downline bought the 500 trader, you're literally getting paid the exact same through the level up, the binary, matching bonuses, everything. Now, of course, on the trader, there is no repurchases going on every week or every month. It's just once a year. So there is no just payment on people, doing repurchases, all the time like it is on the mining. But next year, when everybody upgrades, or I shouldn't say upgrade, when everybody renews, you are getting paid again. So there is residuals, but it's a yearly residual, not a weekly or monthly residual like it is with the repurchases and the mining. Okay, that should cover all that to do with the packages. All right, so let's jump right in. Once you have purchased the trader, you're gonna need to go through these steps. And I'm gonna turn it back over to Drew, and I'm gonna let him walk you through step by step exactly how you hook in the BC Trader into whatever exchange you're using or exchanges that you're using. So take it away.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really excited about this because the number one best feature here is that this is on your exchange. And so it's like the security is enhanced substantially. So what that means is instead of giving your money to a product to trade for you, the money is in your exchange under your control. So the first step, as you can see here, is adding an API key to your first connection. And so what that means is right now there's all these exchanges you can see here listed here. And you're gonna—
Hey, real quick, I know what API is. Can you explain API real quick?
Yeah, so an API is basically a fancy programming term for pipes that run to another product on the internet. So a way to think about it is an API, or an application programming interface, is a way for us to talk to the exchange. And an API key is basically a secret password that can be created that allows the product to access data that belongs to a specific person's account. And the cool part is that they have full control over that API key. At any time they can remove it on this product, they can remove it from the exchange. And so an API is basically the pipes to talk to an exchange account.
Perfect.
Yeah, so the first step would be to connect an API key. And that would allow the product to see the exchange see the information in your exchange account. So I think there's some good tutorials available to help with that. It's sometimes a little bit tricky, sometimes pretty easy, depends on the exchange, but there's great videos and tutorials available. I'm not going to click them because I don't want to take us out of the product, but you can leverage those, and then you would click connect an API key and it would take you over here. And you would take that password that you got from the exchange, you would choose an exchange from the drop down. Maybe you want to add Bittrex or Bitfinex or Binance or something, and you would just paste in that API key and that secret key, and the exchange would give you those and make it easy for them to be copied and pasted. It's literally just a copy and paste, nothing fancy. And you'd click save, and it would test and see if it was a good API key. So for example, this demo account that we pulled together here has a Binance API key connected to it, which means that this demo account can talk to Binance, could run algorithms on Binance and see, the Binance portfolio.
And let's say that they did something wrong, what kind of message would they get so that they know, okay, I got to start over?
Yeah, if something goes wrong, it would on this page, when save is clicked, it would just pop up a little error saying, like, for example, if I try and submit it right now, it says you're missing your API key. If it, for example, maybe these get swapped, you accidentally paste the secret into the key and the key into the secret, it'll check real quick and it'll say, oops, looks like, the numbers are invalid. Just try pasting that again. And then eventually, if there was a permissions issue or something like that, that could be talked about here in a bit, right? It would give you an error on your algorithm saying, oops, looks like that API key didn't have just the right permissions. Go ahead and here's what the permissions should look like. Go ahead and try again.
Okay, perfect.
It sounds scary, but it's really pretty simple stuff. I mean, creating an API key on the exchange is as simple as clicking a link and checking a few boxes.
Exactly. Well, and luckily for us, most of our members, I mean, like way, way, way more than half of our members learned about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency from BitClub Network. Like they knew nothing about cryptocurrencies at all, Bitcoin, nothing. And of course, everybody has to use Bitcoin to join. So we have hundreds of thousands of people that literally had to learn what it was, set up a wallet, go and buy, do an actual transaction. So yeah, our people know that it might be scary in the beginning, but they can figure it out. They just need the info, and so that's just going to educate them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, don't be scared, everybody. Nothing here is too complicated. You just got to learn it the first time.
Yeah, when you've done it once, it's pretty much cakewalk after that on all of the exchanges you may want to add.
Very good. Okay, so I guess the next thing is let's just jump right into the trader and start showing everybody what everything is. So up here, you have 3 live algorithms running, and in those, can you walk through those and like show people what they've done? Like where they can find the trades and how everything works and what all the buttons mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So this dashboard's pretty straightforward. At the very top, you've got a little announcement bar. For example, right now it's addressing the fact that Bittrex did a scheduled maintenance that resulted in the shutoff of some of the Bittrex algorithms. It's a cool place to look if there's a hiccup or something going on that affects a lot of users. There'll always be some information there. On the right here, just market and a 24-hour price chart. Just kind of gives you a sense of what's going on in the market.
Okay,
and then
so that's 24 hours. I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, this is 24 hours. We should probably have it say that. That's a great thought. But right here, the algorithms, and this is really the exciting part. So obviously, you can see this little on status. That means the algorithm is alive and well and running. The stop button allows the algorithm to be stopped. The trash can button obviously deletes it from this section. You could re-add it later. So you could pop
if somebody hit the trash can button, would that automatically stop it?
Yes, that's correct. So if you hit trash can, I believe it will stop, ask you if you're sure, and then later you could add it and restart it later. So you can, if you want to stop it and maybe start it again later and you want to up here in My Live Algorithms, you would just stop it. And then this will turn into a play button for you to start again. If you want to get rid of it and say, I'm done with this one, I've had a good run, ready to try something else, that'd be a good use of the trash can.
Very good.
So to see the details of what's going on with a given algorithm, what you would do is you would just click. You'll notice it highlights when you hover over it. You'll just click this little algorithm box, and it will pop up a window that gives you a bit of information about what's going on. It'll tell you when the algorithm was started, so when it was started in your account, the starting balances, and the current balances, as well as a handy little trade history here. So this trade history is a good example of how you'd be able to see when did it buy, when did it sell, the balances, how they're flipping, et cetera, and the time.
I got a quick question on this.
Yes.
So I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing starting balance 0.4 Ethereum, and now the current balance is no Ethereum, but 0.014578 Bitcoin. So that means it just changed into Bitcoin, and it's just sitting waiting for the next trade.
That's correct. Yep. So this is a great way, and you'd be able to match this up with, in this case, your Binance account. You'd be able to see these trades in your order history on Binance, and I could even just pull up a Binance window and show you where that would be.
Yeah.
So let's say you've logged into your Binance account. You could come down here and order history and just see these exact trades. They might look a little different in here because sometimes the exchange fills them with multiple orders, but you'd be able to see that history in those balances in your actual exchange account. And yeah, just like you said, sometimes, let's say, so I'll pull back here if that's all right. You'll notice this pairing is Ethereum to Bitcoin. And what that means is it's going to trade in between Ethereum and Bitcoin. And so, or I guess Ether and Bitcoin. So what in this case, it's currently in Bitcoin, as it does another buy or sell, right, it'll get back into Ethereum.
Okay, so it is possible that, let's say something just happened and it, put that one back up for me. Let's say it just triggered a trade, and now you have all Ethereum, and let's say now you had 0.44 or 0.45 Ethereum, because right now it's up almost 5%. So you have 0.48 Ethereum or whatever it is. And so if you stop it, you have that much Ethereum. But if you were to stop it right now, you started with 0.4 Ethereum, but if you stopped it, you're just going to have your Bitcoin. There is no Ethereum that you started with on here. It's not going to switch it back.
That's correct. If you stop it now, it won't trade it back. It will leave it in whatever it's currently in.
Okay, perfect. Because I don't want people to like do something where they're starting with Bitcoin and they're into whatever, whether it's Litecoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Dash, and then they stop the algorithm. They're like, I didn't get my Bitcoin back. It's because it made trades, but you stopped the algorithm.
Yeah, that's right. People shouldn't see, oh no, my Bitcoin's gone. What happened to it? It's probably actually just in the other side of the pairing, right? In the other currency. So
exactly. Okay. So let's go down. Let's look at some of these bots. I don't even want to call them pairs anymore, because you guys are going to see that if we just look at Ethereum, Bitcoin, how many there are.
Yeah. So there's a handy little start new algorithm. I'll just throw this in real quick. It's sort of like a wizard that makes it easy. It surfaces higher performers, makes it easy. It looks at your balances and tells you what you could start with. But if you want to get into the nitty gritty, you can come here and click the advanced tab, and it will show, you can see there's tons of algorithms available. Yeah,
tons and tons and tons and tons. And so right here, there's a search feature. And you might want to play with this search feature, because if all you do is start scrolling down the screen, there's going to be a lot of choices. So let's talk a little bit about this drop down that you have right here, because let's start at the top of the drop down. At the very top, could you go through, and actually, where's the other? No, there were some other things there. I thought there was some other stuff I saw there. Yeah, there we go. The 5 minute.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can talk about all the options you can search.
Yeah, let's go through all the options real quick with all the different time frames, the high, the low frequency.
Sure.
So, because everybody's going to have the question, what do these time frames mean? And everybody's going to have the question, what do these low, medium, high frequencies mean? So let's go through that.
Sure. So obviously the first thing that people might want to search by is their exchange that they've connected. So you can click, you could type it in or click an exchange here, and it will just say, okay, I'm now only going to show things that are running on Binance. You might then wonder, well, I have some Bitcoin or I have some Litecoin or whatever you have, or several things. I want to look at algorithms that have that available. So you can search by an individual currency. Like you can see those.
Important point. Let's go off on that for 1 second. And everybody, by the way, it's the first webinar. I'm going to be jumping around a lot. Okay, so real quick, that's important. When you're looking at the algorithms you're going to choose, you have to have that cryptocurrency currently in your account in the exchange. So if all you have is Bitcoin and you don't have anything other than Bitcoin, you cannot pick a trade for Ethereum to Dash, because there is no Ethereum or Dash to trade into the other. So you can only choose algorithms that you have that cryptocurrency already. That's the most important thing. Also, another question was, do you have to have the same, or do you have to have both of the cryptocurrencies? So if it's Bitcoin to Ethereum, no, you don't. And do you want to talk about that real quick? Like how a smart trader with just starting with one of the cryptos?
Yeah, so you only need one. So each pairing has like a numerator and a denominator, right? Like a top and a bottom, or a front and a back. So you could think like Bitcoin to Litecoin, or Litecoin to Bitcoin. You only need one of those currencies. So if you're going to trade Ethereum to Bitcoin, you only need Ether or Bitcoin. And let's say you've started in Bitcoin, you have Bitcoin and you start that. And the first signal, or the first decision that the first analytics that the algorithm gets back says we should get Bitcoin, it will just leave you in Bitcoin. It will say, oh, this user's already got Bitcoin. They're good to go. We'll wait for the next trade, when it should move them into Ethereum in that case, right? So there's sort of a smart system there. If the opposite were true and you had started in Ethereum and it said we need to get Bitcoin, it would trade you into Bitcoin.
Right. So I just want to make that clear to everybody. You have to have one of the cryptocurrencies, and that's why when Drew was starting and he said you can just search for your exchange, and it'll actually bring up recommendations for you, looking at what you already have and what are the best algorithms at the moment. So, okay, back to what we were talking about. Back to the list.
No, that's great. Yeah. Additionally, something you might want to consider is there's a low, medium, and high here. You'll also notice that the algorithms actually say low, medium, high on them. And what that represents is the frequency of trading. So there's different algorithms will trade at a different rate. And so a low frequency algorithm, for example, might signal for trades on a several times or a few times a month basis. It won't trade very often. Sometimes it might speed up and trade more suddenly.
That's really, really important, by the way, because I did have quite a few people that were already using the trader and were coming back to me and being like, Russ, it's a day already and it hasn't made any trades. So if you're on a low volume, how long could it possibly take? Like on a low trade volume, what's the longest it could take before it made a single trade?
Yeah, on the low frequency algorithms, it can be quite a while. I mean, we see cases where it can be even a week or two in some cases, right? It can be a long time. And in some cases, the market, particular coins of particular markets might not even meet a trade threshold for the volatility or something. And so in rare cases, there can be algorithms that just aren't trading based on current market conditions. And in that case, if a user waits, a week or two and they're like, well, I'm not getting any action, this is not what I like, they should switch algorithms, right? The medium frequency traders trade on a more substantial basis, right? Maybe a few times a week, and you'd see more signals out of those. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. And then the high frequency ones trade, potentially several times a day. In our experience, it depends the market which ones do well, right? So at certain times high may do well. At other market conditions, they may perform poorly. And mediums or lows might be performing better, right? So that's why the user has the opportunity to understand and know what the algorithm is. Then they have a good, clear understanding of, okay, this is going to trade probably a lot or probably not very often. And it kind of gives them control and gives them preference over what they prefer, right? Maybe they want to trade a lot and see more action and maybe risk, higher or worse performance, or they want to trade less and have it look at longer trends, right? It kind of gives people the option.
Right. And let's talk about that, like what's going on here. So everybody sees these percentages on here of, like the first one is showing at the top, back at the top, the first one showing 25.17% gain to 30.39% for 7 days. So what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so that's kind of like a performance range. It means that in the last 7 days, the algorithm has had a performance range of 25 to 30% roughly over the last 7 days. There's a couple important details there. One of them is that doesn't mean it has done that evenly spaced over the last 7 days. So, it wouldn't,
Right.
like if it's 30%, you wouldn't divide that by 30, or by 7 and say that's what it's done each day. It at some point has accomplished that due to its trades and market conditions.
Right.
Another important detail is that represents a backtest on the past 7 days. So it wouldn't be necessarily a good idea to go 7 days more and expect exactly the identical performance 7 days from now. Maybe you'd see better, maybe you'd see worse, depends the market. But that's an important detail.
Correct. Let's look at the third one on the right, BX-TO7 medium. All right, so this one's showing a 15.91 to a 39.25 gain over the past 7 days. And that one says 15 minutes. So it's basically looking at data points every 15 minutes and then making a medium amount of trades. But at some point in the past 7 days, if you would have put money into that and turned this algorithm on 7 days ago, at some point you would have been down almost 16%. And at some point you would have been up over 39%, but we don't know what it is at this exact moment.
Right.
Okay. Now, you guys were telling me that your favorite ones are kind of the mediums, but have positive on both sides.
Yeah, that's a great way. So, for example, like this one, that's a great example. Or this one would be this one would be another good example. Not it doesn't necessarily have to be positive 100% on both sides. What we everyone's gonna have to find their own preference, but it's good to think about it like you want to go for something that is kind of the best of all worlds, right? So it does trade, but it doesn't trade too much, and it does analyze data, but it doesn't analyze it too much, and the performance is a good range, right? So that's just personal preference. Everybody has to look at their own portfolio and have experience the product a little bit, and it will come to their own opinions and likes, right?
Right, exactly. All right, so one of the things we talked about the other day that I really want everybody to understand is that you guys have built some crazy algorithms here, but it's not just here, run this and it makes money. There are algorithms that will absolutely lose money, and we talked about just taking those off of here so people can't even mess up by picking them accidentally. But this is something that somebody could set it and forget it, but there are reasons they should not set it and forget it, like being dropped off in exchange, like an API could be dropped off. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, there are a few reasons why it's really smart to kind of keep an eye on things. Obviously, that doesn't mean this has to be up 24/7 or glued in every hour. I mean, everybody can do what they want with it. But it is a good idea to kind of keep an eye on it, check in every now and then, because there's a couple of reasons why. One of them is that occasionally the exchanges have downtime. A great example was yesterday, Bittrex had a huge maintenance downtime, and it shut down all the Bittrex algorithms. So maybe the exchange has some downtime that create some downtime on those algorithms. If you don't monitor it, you might not know that for 2 weeks, and you've missed out on 2 weeks of trading, right? Another example would be occasionally exchanges do maintenance. I know this has happened a number of times with Binance, and they'll actually delete all of the API keys in all of their users' accounts. And what that means is that all of the traders in here will fail, and it will give a little error saying, oops, looks like that API key is no longer valid. And if you were never monitoring, you might not know that, and you might not, take just a few minutes to pop in a new API key.
Right.
And a third good reason is that some algorithms will perform really great in certain market conditions, and sometimes the same algorithm could perform really poorly in a different market condition. And so by keeping an eye on things, that means that you can kind of make adjustments to your preference and leverage the product to trade in an intelligent way. What that doesn't mean is that this has to be a suck up all your time thing. That's not at all what it means. It just means that there could be some benefit to poking around every now and then and making sure things are running smoothly.
Right. So For me personally, I am a terrible trader. And I think most people are terrible traders because human emotion gets involved. And the bots have no emotion. They just run on analytics. And can you talk about a little bit how this whole thing is programmed and what it's looking at? I mean, not specific lines of code, but just in
Sure.
general, how this was developed?
Yeah, so the very first thing that matters for a product like this, and I'll kind of maybe mention, does that sound like a good idea? Talk about some of
Yeah,
these?
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, the very first thing that matters is collecting data. And one of the cool things is that there are literally billions of rows of data required to run this product. And actually, it can be quite expensive to collect that kind of data and process it. And so that's an amount of the first step is getting all of the important data, the price data, the market data, volumes, exchanges, chatters, and even in some cases sentiment, right? Looking at forums and things like that. So getting all of that information into a analyzable central location is very hard, and that's the first step. And that actually is cost prohibitive to individual people. If you tried to do that on your home computer, you literally wouldn't have enough storage. You'd need a data center, right, to go and get all of that data and process it. And then the next step is leveraging basically trend analysis. And so the simple terms for it are just algorithms or trend analysis, things like that. Technical analysis or machine learning. But we have a variety of algorithms in play here. And the reason why is that they're all tuned for different market conditions, which allows people to select different algorithms based on different market conditions. So in here, you'll notice all of these BX. The BX is sort of just stands for this is an algorithm. It's to differentiate it from maybe a pairing, right? So if you see a BX dash in front of something, okay, this is an algorithm that I'd be searching by. And then there's a few important details here. A T means this is a technical algorithm. So it just leverages basically a variety of algebraic equations or trend analysis or statistical analysis features to look at its signals and work on predicting market trends. And then the O1 or the O3 or the O7 behind it just means which version or which algorithm is running. Okay. When it says ML, that means that this is actually a algorithm that leverages machine learning, or that's commonly referred to as AI, right? And you read about it online. But machine learning is just sort of a really advanced and computationally expensive form of data analysis that allows us to enhance the algorithm to a whole new level. And so what we can do is we can take an algorithm and take its parameters, and then we can leverage machine learning to basically create specifically zoomed in, accurate, predictions based on the outputs of that machine learning neural net. That's what it's called.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
So I guess can I just throw in one more thing? In summary, we've simplified the names down so it's easy. The G1 or C1 or I2 stands for which parameter optimization set and time frame it is. The reason we don't explain it all, though, and that we kind of just leave it here is what really matters is looking for the performance. And, if we were to spell out the whole thing, this, I don't know which one's which. I'd have to go look at our key for this. But, this one might be like some combination of a double band super trend parameter enhanced by a K classification regression neural net, on a bear market or something like that. And it's, some crazy math term that we've just simplified down to make it easier. And you can say, oh, I like the MLAC one,
Right. And then the BX, I just asked what BX means. That is Bit Club Extreme.
There we go.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. So, a lot of different algorithms there. So could you scroll down to where there's like minus and minus real quick?
Oh, yeah, down here at the bottom?
Yeah. I just want to show this real quick. All right, so this is very, 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 very important. So they've built all these algorithms, and then they put it on top of all these different trading pairs. That's what creates thousands of them. So a lot of these, because of market conditions, they're all losing. Now you have one that's lost and gained, but most of these are all losing. Don't choose these. You're going to lose money if you choose these. It's just that they put every pair on here, and we're actually going to hide a lot of these trading pairs. But if you see minus and minus, just stay away from it. Do not choose it. I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, this is going to make us money no matter what I choose, and that is not correct. If you choose these that are red, 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 you're probably going to be losing money. And a lot of the high frequency trades, you'll actually see massive losses. And the reason is because you cannot outrun the fees from the exchanges. So anytime you ever do a trade, ever, even if you do it on your own, there is a fee. That's why Binance last year made like $450 million in profit, is because they charge fees for every single trade. And if you're doing high frequency trades, there are some that will make you money, but some of them will lose you a ton of money because you can't outrun those fees. Is that correct assessment?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then, obviously certain market conditions can harm the performance, but yeah, fees are a big thing. That's why you see generally better performance on the mediums and lows. That's not always true though, just like you said. Sometimes you'll see a high or a medium that's just crushing it because of, it's the signals are really great. But yeah, I think that's a great assessment. Obviously it's probably not a great decision to start one of these.
Right, exactly. Oh, real quick, couple questions I see here. It says Binance seems to be preferred exchange. That's just what's hooked here. That's not a preferred exchange. It's just what he has hooked up on this account running right now. Can you run multiple algorithms the same pair? Yes. Well, when you say the same pair, again, you have lots of choices for the same pair. So if we just take Bitcoin, Ethereum as an example, you have low, medium, and high frequency. You also have it where it's looking at every 15 minutes of data, every 1 hour of data, every this of data. And there's a lot of different options there. So these right here are Binance, all Ethereum, Bitcoin. So yes, you could choose multiple ones of these to run if you wanted to, and it's the same pair, but it's different algorithms. Hey, this guy had a good question. Can you hide the red ones and only show the green ones? The only problem is that there might be one that has, a -1, but the top end is a +27. You don't want to hide that one because it had a little bit of a loss at one point during the week, but it's had massive gains also during the week. So you don't want to hide all the reds. But again, that's another thing you can go look at, once a day, once every 3 days. And let's also, real quick, let's cover the lock real quick. There are locks on some of these. Can you explain what the lock means?
Yeah. So the lock, you'll see it says algorithm lock to prevent poor performance due to excessive allocation. This algorithm has been temporarily locked. What that means is that maybe this specific pairing on this exchange doesn't have a whole lot of volume. And so that means users have already come in and started a lot of trading on this pairing. And what we want to avoid is that so much crypto gets allocated to be traded on that pairing that the algorithm starts to self-defeat or perform really poorly because too much sell or buy is going in at the same time. And so
right.
to protect users, that's not to make it take away a cool opportunity. It's just to protect users and protect the performance of the people who are trading on that, right?
Right.
It's it says, hey, it's locked. And by the way, they may unlock. Maybe someone stops an algorithm, maybe the volume changes on the exchange a little bit, shifts. These will switch on a day-to-day basis, right?
And can you explain the limits? So somebody has the founder position, 3,500. They have a $100,000 limit. They have $100,000 in their trading account. They go to do this algorithm. They see one of these that looks really good, and they go to put 100,000 on there and it says, no, you can't do that. Can you go through the limits and why?
Yeah, so each algorithm can run up to 10,000 USD value. And that's partly in place to protect, users from having a poor performance. So everything we do is about enhancing the user experience. So you can place 10,000 per one of these boxes. So let's say you had that founder's account, you had a $100,000 limit. To use your full $100,000 allocation limit, you would need to start 10 different boxes. And by the way, you could start more than one on one particular pairing. It would just need to be a different algorithm. So that's kind of how that works. You need 10 different selections here to use that full 100K. But another benefit is that there's some diversification, right?
Yeah. Okay. No. Now, let's say somebody had 10, or let's say they bought 2 traders because they had 200,000 to trade, but they're only using one Binance account or one Bittrex account or one whatever account, but they have 200,000 in that account. They have 2 trading bots. Could they use that same algorithm for 20,000, so 10 and 10, because they have the 2 positions?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, and that which answers another question. Can you use multiple trading accounts on the same account on an exchange? And the answer is yes, you can do that. I mean, there's some guys that want to trade $1 million. And so if you buy 10 of the trading licenses, you can trade $1 million. And then you could have $100,000 on one of the algorithms because you have 10,000 times 10. Oh, and also somebody asked, is this real information? Well, like, it's all real information, but they're asking, is that done on a real account or is it just looking backwards? It's just looking backwards. It's not possible to have, every single one of these algorithms running, and a lot of them lose, so it wouldn't even be smart to have a lot of them running. This is just looking back at the actual data on if you put in $100 or $1,000 on this algorithm exactly 7 days ago, what would it have done over the past 1 week? That's the way that these read. And then someone asked, can we look back further than 7 days?
Currently, you can't.
Okay.
Obviously the database and the processing can see back farther, but part of the reason why it's only 7 days is because market conditions shift. And so, people should have the latest insight on how this is doing right now. What we wouldn't want is an algorithm that performed really well in a different market condition, and then it still has that residual good performance. And then, but for the last 2 weeks, it's been really performing poorly. Imagine then if you started using that, and then that'd be a big disappointment. Another reason why is that each day you add to these back tests adds a huge layer of computation that makes it even harder and more time consuming to process.
You can look at your portfolio. This is Todd.
We've had Todd here, by the way, for quite a while.
Good to hear you, Todd.
Hey, good to be here. You can look at your portfolio over a longer period of time, but it really it makes sense to look at the performance of an algorithm over more of a 7-day period.
Yes, exactly. All right, and then I'm trying to think, what's the next thing we need to go over with this? Low Binance. Let's say somebody doesn't know what some of these are. Like, just looking here, I see RVN, MDA. I guess they just need to go to, World Coin Index or on Binance, look up, that symbol, like those 3 letters, and figure out which coin it is if they want to get involved in that one.
Yeah, sure. You'd also be able to see it in Binance. Like if you wanted to add that pairing, you could get into that coin on Binance pretty easily. Usually they have a nice search, or I shouldn't say just Binance. In this example, it would be Binance, but on any exchange that you've added, you can do that.
Right. Okay. real quick, let's go over to your account where it actually showed, not the Binance account, but the back office for BC Trader, to your portfolio. All right, so in here, you're going to be seeing, what is it, a 1 week volume, or how much time can they look at?
Yeah, I believe this shows a 7-day. This demo account was just set up a few days ago, so it doesn't quite show 7-day here. But this is a great place to look for a holistic view at what's happening in your account, right? And see how the value has been shifting over time. So you might look at the dashboard and you've got all these different performances, but this is a great place to come look at the total USD value, the total Bitcoin value, a breakdown of what you own on the exchanges you've connected, and a breakdown of how much you have in each exchange that you've connected. So in this demo account, there's just a Binance API. That's why it's all in Binance. You could see this breakdown, and then down here it actually shows you what that account currently holds in all of these different currencies. And that's important because, like we mentioned at the very beginning, sometimes maybe you've done ETH to BTC, and you started in BTC, and then you turn around, you don't have any BTC. You could come in here and see, oh, I've got all this Ethereum now.
Right, exactly. All right, perfect. Scroll back up a little bit. Trying to think.
This
what
can
else?
also be helpful if you have multiple exchanges linked through your API key to get a picture of kind of what your holdings look like across all of those exchanges.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And then also, oh damn, I forgot my question. I was just about to ask a question. Now I forgot what it was. What was my question? I forget. Oh well, I'll think of it in a minute. Okay, anything? Oh, I remember now. Okay, so you were saying the other night when we were going through this that sometimes API keys won't pick up some balances. Can you talk about that for a minute? Like if somebody's not seeing stuff here that they know that they have in their whatever exchange account?
I actually have a great example of it right here in this demo account. You'll notice it suddenly dropped to 0. And that isn't a bug on this system. That's because sometimes the exchange APIs are kind of rickety and don't respond to the requests from this product. And so in this example, this account doesn't have 0 in it, but you'll see the graph suddenly drops to 0 and then it'll spike back up. And then there's actually a process that will go up and clean up that bad data. So if it sees, it looks like that exchange had a hiccup, it'll actually clean that bad data out and fix the graph and everything, automatically. But that's not the fault of BC Trader. That's sometimes, Binance or other exchanges, the API will get, called, and they'll just return an error or a blank response. Maybe it's because of maintenance. Maybe it's because there's a bug on their side, right? There's a variety of reasons why that can happen, but that does sometimes occur, and it's not anything to panic about. Like if you log into BC Trader and all of a sudden you see a random 0, don't worry. You're fine. You can go look at Binance.
And you know what? That's a perfect place for us to talk about API keys. So when somebody goes in and sets up an API key, puts in the information, before they get that API code and secret code to put in, they're first asked, what are they giving the algorithms permissions to do? Can you cover that real quick? I know it's in the tutorials, but can you just cover it and explain the withdrawals part, how this will never do that?
Yeah, I think that's really important. So the most important thing is the security of users' funds, right? And so when an API key gets created, on every exchange, it gives you options of which permissions you want to grant it. And they're called a little bit differently depending on the exchange, but they generally include view or read. So view or read would mean like see what's in your balance, check your balances, see what you have. There's usually one that's like either view trades or read trades. There's another one that's make trades. And then there's usually a fourth one that's withdraw. So what the product needs to work properly is the ability to read the balances in the trades and to make trades. What it doesn't need and what you should never give it, and you would never want to give it, and is withdraw. And so if you don't click that withdraw, if you don't give it withdraw permission, no matter what, that API key can't be used to withdraw funds. So that, that crypto is totally safe. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So right now, everything's programmed to never, ever, ever do a withdrawal, even if somebody accidentally clicked on to let it do a withdrawal. It's not programmed to do that at all.
That's correct. In fact, there's no way to even test if it had that or anything. Like there's no bit of code that could ever even know if they had done that. But it's still a great idea to just not click it for your peace of mind, right, and for security.
Right. Because, reality, you never know. One of these AI bots might get too smart and want to be super rich and might want to do a withdrawal, so it'll be like the richest AI bot. But if you don't give that AI bot, they're not that smart yet, but you never know in the
future. Yeah, they probably won't try and do that, but
I think the risk of the AI bots becoming self-aware is low.
It is low. Exactly. But no, yeah. But the best part is that users can just sleep soundly knowing, hey, that's totally secure. I didn't even give it that permission.
Right. And then by the way, when we were talking about, just for some reason it popped in my head with the limits, the reason we have all these limits on here are to not overload any of these, because if it all of a sudden sees a good buy signal or a good, well, I shouldn't even say buy or sell, I should just say trade into whatever it is. If there's a good trade signal and there's just so much money dumped on that one algorithm, it could literally affect the market in a major way. And so that's why there's some major limits on this. And that's why at the moment we're limiting it to 150,000 of these licenses. And in BitClub, I know we have probably between 600,000 and 700,000 people. So I don't know how fast this is going to sell out, but I know it will sell out. What would make it in the future where we could end up adding more than just 150,000? What are the couple things that would have to happen?
Yeah, a big one would be that volume grows in the crypto market, and people using this product and bringing liquidity to the market could help with that. But that's going to be the biggest key. And then just making sure that the good user experience can continue its scale, right? That's a huge priority. Right.
So basically, if the whole market cap goes up, because right now we're at like 100-something billion, but if the market cap went up to $1 trillion, there's a ton more daily trade volume. We could add a lot more people to this.
Yeah. Yep.
And then also, if we add a lot more exchanges, that's another thing that could help also.
Yep. And by the way, exchanges will be coming in on a regular basis.
Oh, by the way, let's talk about that. Let's go through the exchanges we have now, and I know you're working on a couple other ones as well.
Yeah, I believe trading is enabled on all of these except CoinCheck, and we've got a bunch more coming down the pipeline. I think that the most imminent addition will be BitThumb.
BitThumb in Korea. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, which is a big one. We like that one, and we'll work together with user feedback and statistics of what has the highest volume to add the best exchanges.
Right, exactly. All right, real quick. Somebody said, can you upgrade? Yes, if you start with the $500 license, you can then buy a 1,000 license, so you're getting the benefits of both of those put together. And then if you buy the 2,000, you're now a founder, and basically you're going to have unlimited, and then 100,000. So yes, you can upgrade, absolutely. There are no fees on this at all. You're paying one time. There's no more fees from BC Trader side, but whatever exchange you're on, they charge fees. There's no way to get around those fees. But let's go back to the algorithms real quick. So if we go to these algorithms, by the way, what you're seeing here with these positives and negatives, can you explain where you get the data for this with fees and everything?
Yeah, so what this is it actually pulls in a market history of the real life, what happened in the market, and it runs the algorithm on it and simulates as though it were trading with real money. And it actually even accounts for how sometimes real money causes a little bit of slippage in the market, and it accounts for the fees. And those are set specifically for each exchange. And, the amount of slippage is also set based on the amount of volume. And
Can you explain slippage real quick?
Yeah, slippage would be when a taker order is placed on an exchange and it fills a decent chunk of the order book, and basically the price of the fill includes a range of orders available in the book. I'm not doing a very good job explaining this in simple terms.
I'll put it in secondary terms.
An easier description would be you want to buy for a certain price, and you put an order in, but the price goes up a little bit.
Yeah, that's better.
Exactly. So in other words, if you have somebody that is wanting to buy Bitcoin, hypothetically, and they put USD in a trading account, and they put, hypothetically, $10 million, and right now the price is at whatever it is, 38.15 or something, and there's only 50,000 at that price, and then there's another 100,000 at the next stair step price, and then there's another 150,000 at the next stair step price up, and another 50,000 at the next stair step price up. If that guy puts in an order for 10 million, he's literally buying that order book up until that 10 million's been filled, and he just raised the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's spot on.
So what they're showing here includes breakage, as if, you sold an order, it might push the price down. Well, if you made a trade, it might push the price up of one of them, and it might push the price down on the other one. It's taking that into account. It's also taking into account the fees. And that's why you see on the high trade volume that a lot of them are losers, because there's so many fees, where a lot of low trade volume are at the higher wins because there's less fees that are being put on there. Is that correct?
Yep, that's all correct.
Now, also, if you buy the $500 package, you can trade with 2,000. You can put $100 on one algorithm if you want, or $50 on one algorithm. You could also put $2,000 on one algorithm. When it's doing trades for you, if you're paying fees on a trade, it might be a higher percentage on you if you're only trading $50 worth compared to if you're trading $2,000 worth. So that's always a possibility, depending if they're charging you a fee, like a percentage of how much you're trading, compared to if they're charging you on a trade. So if you're on an exchange where they're just charging you for a trade, if you're trading with a higher amount, it's going to not cut into your wins as much.
Yeah, in most cases it would be proportional. So it'll be like a percentage of the amount you're trading. I think there may be some cases where it's a flat fee, but I think in most cases it's probably going to be proportional.
All right. Now, let's go through a hypothetical. On the second algorithm on the right, in the past 7 days, it has been consistently between winning 11.5% and almost 13%. It's a low frequency trade, and it trades based on 1 hour data points, but it might take 5, 6, even 7 days before it actually makes a trade. But that one has been really consistent. Let's say someone got that algorithm and left it running for 30 days, and it stayed in that same window of profit, and let's just say it was averaging 12% over 7 days. That would mean, and I want to make sure I'm correct, that would mean if they started with 1,000 on that algorithm, they would have 1,200 the next week to start out. And then if it stayed the same, they'd be making 12% on that 1,200. And then if it stayed the same the next week, they'd be making 12% on that 1,400 and whatever it is. So this is a compounding effect if you're on an algorithm that's consistently winning like this.
Yeah, it should have a good, a good compounding effect in that case, right?
And you know what? This is a perfect place to go and talk about the limits. Okay, so if you're curious about the limits and how they work, let's say you start with the $500 trading license and you can trade 2,000. And let's just say you put it all on that algorithm right there we're talking about, and over the next 7 days, you average that 12%, and so now you just made $240. You're over your $2,000 limit. As long as you don't touch that algorithm and you don't try and reset anything, that's going to keep compounding and trading all of that money. If you decide you want to put some money on a different algorithm, it resets to your 2,000 limit. So if you don't touch it, it can compound up. If you do touch it and start a new algorithm, you're back to your 2,000 limit. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So let's say somebody had their 2,000 on there. It's going. Let's say they made some money in commissions. They don't want to touch that algorithm, but they got some new money and they want to put some new money on an algorithm. If they then were to upgrade by the $1,000 package, now they have a higher limit. They could not touch that and just start a new algorithm if they wanted to, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure I'm saying it all correctly. I don't know if they had to restart something if they had upgraded, so don't need to redo anything. All right, so again, I just want to touch on this. When you see a negative on here, you could lose some money. I want to be very clear about this. This bot, because I've even seen people ask questions, so how much is this thing making? Like, if I buy it and I put $1,000 into it, what's my return? I want to be really clear on this. It's possible to lose money and get negative returns if you pick the wrong algorithms. If you're going in here and you're paying attention to what's going on, you could have amazing, amazing returns on this. And how long have you guys been using some different test groups on this?
Quite a while, many months.
Many months. And for people that are actively not being a day trader, but spending, what would you think? 20 minutes a day, an hour every 3 or 4 days total? Like, how much time every day to 3 days would you recommend people going in, and what should they be looking at to make decisions to move around or not move around?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of interesting thoughts there. One of which is that changing it up too much, like if you start and stop algorithms every hour, nothing will really ever happen. You never give it enough time to trade. But that being said, what people shouldn't do is just sit and say, wow, my algorithm sucks. Maybe it's losing money, or I don't like it, or whatever, and not stop it. And so I'm not sure that time is required. It's more just being aware of what's going on. And so maybe you're only going to poke your head in for 30 seconds today, but you know what's going on. Maybe you're going to take more time in the product a different day because you want to switch some stuff up.
Right.
Yeah,
So let's say you went in and looked, and this algorithm that's 11.5 to 12.8, that one today is saying 11.5 to 11.9. It's still winning. I wouldn't touch it. I would just leave it alone. It still looks like it's always winning. But let's say I saw another one, like the one at the top there, that's 25 to 30, and I'm like, holy crap, that one's doing even better. I need to jump on that one. How many algorithms would you recommend being on? Like, do you recommend pick 2, 3, 4 of the really good ones that look good here? Or put it on 50 of them? Like, what are you thinking? Because I know one guy has like 50 algorithms running right now.
I don't even know that we would know the best answer to that, because it depends what pairings people prefer, what exchanges they prefer. I think the best answer is just that each user is going to discover that for themselves based on their preferences and their portfolio, right? Maybe for some people, just a few is the experience that they want. Maybe for some people, they want a lot of diversification, a lot of, things running in parallel. And I think that people can experiment with that and figure that out.
Okay, perfect. And then someone asked a question on here. I don't even really understand it. Will there be education on how to correctly evaluate the market situation? I don't know what that actually means, the market situation. So here's what I can say. These algorithms, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, jump in, explain it if you want. These algorithms, if the market is on a downtrend, like for the last 3 days, you've been seeing minuses on everything and just everything's going down, it's still making trades to boost up the amount of cryptocurrencies that you have. If the market's in an uptrend and for the past 3 days, everything's green, everything's going up, it's doing trades to capitalize on gains in case it comes back down again. Low frequency, it might even be holding even longer. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so each algorithm has the goal to collect as much crypto or as much base pair as possible in a bear market, and then to collect as much USD or quote pair in a bull market. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I think so.
You have to think about it from the perspective of a pairing. Let's say it's Bitcoin to Litecoin. When the Bitcoin price is going up, it's going to try to get more Bitcoin. When the Litecoin price is going up, it's going to try to get more Litecoin. So it will sell into the crypto side or buy into the fiat side if it's a fiat pairing. Basically, what the system will do is it'll try to optimize for market conditions. If the market conditions are kind of bearish, it's going to try to get more what we call base, which is the left side of the pair. If the market conditions are more bullish, then it's going to try to go for the other side of the pair. It's going to try to make you money, whichever direction the market's going.
And that might be a good example of how someone would trade if they're trading manually, right? Let's say the price of Bitcoin against dollars, each Bitcoin is worth less dollars. You might be trying to get more Bitcoin and take advantage of that bear market. And then in a price swing where the price is shooting up, you'd be wanting to capture as much dollars gain on the way up as possible. And so this will work similarly and show you gains in crypto or in USD, depending which arc that algorithm is in.
Correct. And then a guy asked, is there stop losses in these, or will it just keep trading until the account's totally wiped out?
Yeah, so stop loss, if you think about these algorithms, stop loss is not super relevant, mainly because the algorithm will try and move you out of, it will move you into the right side of the pairing in like a super bear market. What it definitely won't do though is, let's say you're in two cryptos, so you're in this Ethereum to Bitcoin one, and let's say both of those prices start shooting down against dollars. It will maybe move you into Bitcoin because that's moving less, but it won't sell you out into dollars and prevent you from any dollars lost. Does that make sense? So there is no fiat stop loss.
Right. Hey, also real quick, can you show the algorithms and go all the way to the bottom to the worst ones?
Yeah. I think these are the worst ones that are showing currently on Binance.
Okay, so those are the worst ones on Binance. Okay, so we have some that are down between 10% and 8%, 13% and 5%, 12% and 5%. So if you are on these, you are going to lose money. And if you leave it running, you're going to continue to lose money. And there were some that were really, really bad that they already took off, but we're going to try to get some of these also removed. But some of these could turn around, like EOS to USDT and Bitcoin to USDT. It's just that on medium trades, those fees catch up to you. And so some of these, the algorithms are just not profitable algorithms. So yes, you could lose money and continue to lose money if you stay on those algorithms. That's why we're showing you green and green means win, win, win. Something could change, but over the past 7 days, this is showing you what's winning. And if you go and check it every 2 or 3 days and you see, hey, everything's still winning, everything's still winning, everything's still winning. And if you have something that's winning for 4 weeks in a row, and then you go in and you see, oh crap, this all of a sudden had a downtrend. Let me get rid of this because it might stay on a downtrend. Let me just drop this one. I made a ton of money with it for the last 4 weeks. Let me see what's doing good this week. Boom, I'm going to jump over to this one. And now check it every few days. Maybe it stays on a good run for a few weeks. Something happens, you see a red, boom, you jump out of it, jump on the next one that's win-win. So, I mean, from everything that I've been learning from you guys, that's the way I'm looking at it personally.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I did want to show something kind of cool here. When you click an algorithm that you haven't started in advanced mode, it pops up this little modal and it shows you what you have available on these. So in this case, there's no USDT and no Litecoin available. Let's find one where we've got something available. Maybe here. Let's see, EOS. I'd have to hunt by what's available, but it will show your balance of what you have in the exchange.
There we go.
There we go. So we've got some Tron available, and it will let you start the algorithm either by typing in a number. So if I want to use like 1000 TRX, I come in and type that in. Otherwise, I can come in here and click 75% of the TRX to start it. I can also choose a USDT amount to start with. And it will tell you, hey, you need to start with more USDT than that. It'll tell you what the minimum is to start. The same is true on this side. Now, the way it works is you only choose one or the other. If you have both, you're only going to start and allocate one or the other. If you want to use the full value of both, you need to move, one of the currencies in the pairing to the other. So that's a way to do it. It's a little more complicated and advanced. And then if that feels scary, there's just this easy, if you turn off advanced mode, you can go start new algorithm, select one of the exchanges you've connected, and it will actually, in this case, it's telling me it doesn't have, I wonder, I might need to refresh the page. It should look that, oh boy.
This demo account just
I think what happened in the demo account is my token expired. We have a special account set up for this demo, and I think the token might have expired, so I'd have to do a little programming real quick to restore it. But it will let you choose from a drop down. Let me see if I can get the token going on this account again. Give me 1 second.
No problem. And so, by the way, all you guys that are, and gals that are on here listening, you can see there's a ton of information. And we are going to be doing more webinars in the future, but a lot of you guys are going to get a lot of experience from actually using this. And once you start to see what's going on, and now we end up getting some history of people using it for a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, we're going to have a bunch of freaking deadly assassin traders here, and a lot of you guys are going to be amazing leaders with this. I know there's so many super smart people in BitClub, and I know a lot of you guys are actually probably playing with your accounts right now, all choosing new algorithms based on all the new information you got. Because again, I was completely wrong on what I was thinking a lot of time, especially with starting new algorithms. I was thinking the big gaps. So if you had something that was -7 to +4, that was an awesome one because there was big gaps and there was big ups and downs and swings in the market, and the trader could be buying low and selling high, but that's not what that represented. And so that's why you really got to share this information and make sure everybody that buys the trader watches this webinar so they can really learn everything that's going on. Okay, so you get this thing hooked up?
Yeah, I think our demo account's having a little bit of a hiccup here, but okay. Hopefully we got through the big part. We created a special account that doesn't, uses a different token system, and I think we had a little hiccup, so we might be tapped out on this account.
All right, no problem. All right, so real quick, let's go back. I want to cover something real quick. Somebody's asking the difference between, like, why should they choose USDT compared to USD? So if you click on Start New Algorithm, and we bring up all of these.
Yeah, we're
it won't even let you look. Okay, there we go. It won't even let you look at algorithms?
No, our token system is down. I'm gonna have to chat with the engineering team real quick on this. If on the demo account, if we want to get it going, but we can still talk through it.
Okay, so all right, so for me personally, when I'm looking at trading on this bot, or like, and actually each one of these, they call each one of these a bot. So when I'm looking at this, I don't really care if I'm looking at Bitcoin to USD or Bitcoin to USDT. I'm going to be looking at what's having the best results over the past 7 days. So it's just, how is it performing? And you're going to see some things performing better and then not performing so well, and then other things that weren't performing so well performing better. Because, and guys asking about training for market conditions, look, there's no way to train somebody on market conditions. We're still in a market that's in its complete infancy. I mean, we're talking about the Forex market is $5 trillion a day that's being exchanged. And cryptocurrency is like way, 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 way less than 1% of that. So you can't even assess market conditions. If you have something that literally goes up, times 20 and 30, and then comes down 80-something%, and it's done that multiple times, I mean, you just follow these trends. And right now, in between, when everything's kind of level, but there's ups and downs, and you get things that are moving 5 and 10% in a day, and sometimes even 20 and 30% in a day, you can capitalize on those markets because it's still in its infancy. But I mean, education on market conditions, man, that's a whole nother topic. And I don't even think the cryptocurrency, whole market, like, you could even touch on that, because it's still so tiny, and things can, I mean, literally, there are cryptocurrency holders. There's guys with enough Bitcoin to where if they wanted to go and sell 50,000 Bitcoin or 100,000 Bitcoin or 200,000 Bitcoin, there's guys sitting on that much Bitcoin right now. If one of those guys decide to sell 200,000 Bitcoin right now, the price is going to come down dramatically. But you also have billionaires, if they just go, you know what, I want $100 million worth of Bitcoin, the price can go up dramatically. So there's no way to forecast that. But when you have bots and you have them running on these markets, they can take advantage of it. So that's why I'm looking at this and going, okay, I'll just go check it every 3 days. Something's doing good, I'll throw some on that. Something's not doing that well right now, I'll take it off of that. And I'll just adjust myself, paying attention to what's going on with these algorithms. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, do you agree with my assessment? Because I'm here to learn also.
Yeah, I think the way we view the market, just kind of wrapping a little bit about our view of the market is, obviously we've been in a bear market, for over a year here. Prices, came down dramatically. We're of the opinion on our side that that's the time when you try to acquire more crypto. That's a personal decision. We're not giving advice out here. But our long-term view is that the value of cryptocurrency is still developing, and the prices are going to be reflective of that. And so we're going to have periods where we have these bear markets, and we're going to have periods where everyone gets excited about what's happening with cryptocurrencies, and then there's a bull market and prices go up. So my personal strategy is, when prices are on the way down, I try to acquire more cryptocurrency. And when prices go up, I might unload some of my cryptocurrency. And that's, again, not intended to be advice. It's just kind of how I view it. But we view the opportunity to use algorithms to help manage that as important, because what these algorithms are going to do is they're going to try to buy the lows and sell the highs.
Exactly. All right. Somebody asked, if you choose an algorithm Bitcoin to Ethereum, is it going to touch the other cryptos you're holding? No, it will not touch those other cryptos. It's only going to trade between those two cryptos and nothing else. If you don't have one of those two cryptos that you're choosing an algorithm for, it won't even let you choose it. You cannot turn it on unless you have one of those two. So it's not like let's say you do not have Dash and you do not have Ethereum, but you pick a Dash Ethereum pair, it's not going to sell your Bitcoin to get you into Dash or Ethereum. You have to have Dash or Ethereum or both to start that algorithm. So
yeah, well, it won't even let you start it. It'll show you, oh, you don't have enough Dash or Ethereum in that example.
Right. And and then what's better, trading between crypto versus fiats or crypto to crypto? Again, I'm going to be looking at what has been working the best for the past 7 days, and I'm going to base it solely on green and green. I really am not even going to look at what the two cryptos or the crypto and fiat. I'm not even going to pay attention to any of that, except to make sure that I have one of the cryptos that's on that trading pair so I can get into it. That's all I'm going to pay attention to personally. Beyond that, kind of up to you guys. And people are asking, oh, we already covered that. Can you see stats on pairs for longer than 7 days? No, they don't have that. And to add that, it's a ton of data. But you could see it. If you have that algorithm running for more than 7 days, you could actually follow it on your own account to see where it's been for a longer period of time. But no, because the data is just overwhelming. Because again, they're keeping data on between 4,000 and 6,000 actual choices. It's just way too much. All right, let me go through my notes here, see if I forgot anything. I think anything else you guys can think of that we haven't? Oh, somebody asked about Clubcoin. All right, so Clubcoin's only on a couple exchanges. Those exchanges are not listed on here. When we turn Clubcoin into an ERC20 token, we will be on some of these exchanges, and you'll be able to trade with Clubcoin. So this is only connecting to exchanges. It has to be on those exchanges. So eventually, yes, we will be on some of these exchanges, but the exchanges that Clubcoin's on are not hooked into this. I'm really excited about Clubcoin also. Yes, this webinar has been recorded, absolutely. And I believe we're even going to be putting it up in the back office for everybody to have access to this. And again, if you have somebody buy the trader, the very first thing they need to watch this before they do anything else. That's, I think, going to be the most important thing. You might not even want to let somebody buy it until they watch this, so they can understand what they're getting involved with. Oh, and somebody just said the advanced button is not working on Safari. So I don't know why that would be. I guess these guys can check that out, see why it's not working on Safari. Also, somebody said, is there going to be an app? Probably no app. Am I correct for this?
There could be an app, but I guess we'll see.
Okay. And then,
stay tuned for more details on that one.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That sounds awesome. But you should be able to use your phone and log into your account to check it. I mean, you can, log into your background.
The product is mobile optimized, so this product will render really nicely on a phone browser.
Very good. And Clubcoin right now is on Trade Satoshi. I know that. And it wasn't another one, but the other one was having problems with the wallet. But we'll get it switched to ERC20 very soon. So if you have two licenses, do I need to log in on different browsers to look at them both at the same time? All right, so if you have two of the $3,500 and you're going to be using 200,000 to trade, you could use one Bittrex account or Binance account or whatever account. But yeah, you'd have to log in to both of those BC Trader accounts separately. You can't log into both of them at the exact same time. So yeah, you'd have to log into them separately. Oh, can you buy the trader using ClubCoin? I don't know if we have. I don't think so, because I don't think ClubCoin is hooked into CoinPay. That's another reason we're changing into ERC20 token, because we have CoinPay set with Ethereum and Ethereum tokens. Even though we don't accept Ethereum tokens, we only accept Ether. But once ClubCoin's ERC20 token, then we will be able to. So I don't think it is right now. It might be in the use your balances, but I'm not positive on that. Just check it. But if you want to, just send a support ticket and let them know you'd like to do that, and that's probably not going to be an issue. Okay, so Jorg, again, we covered this already. You put in a trade, 30 XRP, nothing happened for 3 days. Would you recommend to take smaller amounts? No. So again, there's low, medium, and high volume trades. So if you pick a low volume one, it might not even make a trade for 5 to 7 days. If you pick a medium trading volume, then it might not make the first trade for 2 or 3 days. That's very possible. And it's probably going to make between 3 and 5 trades a week, where a low volume is going to make, who knows, 1 trade a week, maybe 3 trades a month. Like, that's possible. It might make 5 or 6 trades or 7 trades a month, but it could only make 3 trades in a month. If you want to see action, I personally am probably going to stay on all of the algorithms that are green and are medium. That way I can see some action happening. But a lot of the high volume trades, you see a lot of action, but again, it's hard to outrun the fees that the exchanges are charging. So take that into account. All right, so guys, I'm trying to think, any other things you guys can think of? I know you guys are always working on upgrading the system. Can you talk about that just for a minute?
Yeah, we're never finished. So we're constantly retraining the algorithms, updating parameters, constantly looking at any errors we see or issues that come in, and working to fix those and improve usability and improve, the performance of the product. So I think, just from our side, there's that commitment, and really this is, a passion for us. And so we, this is what we eat, sleep, and drink.
We'll be adding new exchanges and popping in a few new cool features in the coming weeks.
Very good. And if you use 2 browsers, absolutely you could log into 2 accounts at the same time. And as far as hiring somebody to test algorithms, you can see the past 7 days on here. So that's literally the test. They're showing you what are the results for the past 7 days. And I mean, generally that's what they're looking at, like what's getting results. So, but as far as sharing, hey, everybody, these are the best algorithms, now you're kind of touching a slippery slope with where you're actually making suggestions. And if you're not a licensed financial advisor, you just can't be making suggestions, because let's say something has been performing good for the past 7 days or even the past 1 month, and you suggest it to somebody and then they end up losing money, then they come back and be like, he told me to do this, he said I was going to make money. It just gets messy. So that's why we're trying to teach everybody how to read this and let you make your own choices. And again, there will be people that will not get very good gains. There's going to be people that are going to get amazing, amazing results. And I think a lot of that is how much effort people put into it. I mean, this could end up, being really amazing for a lot of people. Hang on, let me scroll down here. I've got a ton more questions on here. Let me see here. Why I can choose paragraph if it's still working. Can choose again, the old one stops. What's the idea behind this? Okay, can choose a pair algorithm I've chosen before. Okay, if you have an algorithm and you're running it, if you stop it, you can turn it back on again if you want to. Also, let's say an API, because someone like Bittrex or Binance, they do some kind of maintenance and it disconnects all APIs, not just from BC Trader, but all APIs for every single person that's on Binance. Every single person on Binance, not just for BC Trader, but all of them will have to go in and reset up APIs. So you can start it back up again, but if it got knocked off because they did an upgrade or they changed something, it's not that we chose to do that. Well, no, the bot does not have stop losses in there. Covered that already. That's why you need to go in and look and see everything that's happening. But again, if something's going down and the other one's not going down, it's going to be, putting it over on the other one. Like it's smart. That's why just go on the ones that are green. Yes, you can have a trading pool without having a mining pool. Absolutely. See, I think we covered just about all of it. How long have you been on here? Almost 2 hours? Almost 2 hours. And look, other coins will be added. Other exchanges will be added. They're always working on it. By 500, can I trade max 3 pairs? By example, I choose 1 pair. I can choose, yes. So if you have 3, it's 3 algorithms. So if you have the 500 package, you can use 3 algorithms. You can't use 17 of Bitcoin to Ethereum because that's 17 algorithms. Even though it's 1 trading pair, it's 17 algorithms. So you have access to 3 algorithms. How does the bot make adaptation for the? Well, that would be kind of need to know information for the programmers. Low volatility, tomorrow's bigger. It's going to react based on how it's programmed. Again, we're talking about between 4,000 and 6,000 different ones, and some of them are AI based. Some of them are just looking at trends in the market with analytics on market data. So there's a lot of different answers to that one question. To payment of license for bot is not the money. What can you use for trading? All right, so if you have only $500, you have no money to put into the market, do not buy the bot. I definitely recommend, if you're going to buy the $500 license, you need to have $2,000 to put in that trading account. I wouldn't even, to be honest with you, if you had $500 to trade, that's even kind of pushing it. I don't even know if I even recommend it. I think you will make a profit after 1 year, but you're not getting that much leverage compared to what you paid for the license. I mean, just so you guys understand, like, there are people that offered tens of millions of dollars to buy this software, but it's not big enough for them and for us. So it is only for BitClub Network. And if we allowed this where people could trade 10 million for a 3,500, you got to understand, we would have $1 billion come in just on a few people. So that's why there's a $100,000 limit on this, so it doesn't get out of control. So just understand, this thing really works. It is tested. It is proven. And if you do the 5% of just going and paying attention to this, it will do the 95% of trading when it needs to be traded, instead of maybe that happens while you're sleeping, or that happens while you're driving somewhere, or that happens while you're doing a webinar and teaching somebody about Bitcoin. Like, it's doing this when it's supposed to be doing it, So you don't have to sit and watch it all day, every day. And you don't have to learn all the analytics. You don't have to that's why this was built. So, all right, everybody, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Yes, it is cell phone optimized. Yes. If the trade is red, meaning you lost, it means you're losing at the moment. Like on this test account, since it was started a few days ago, that's actually losing 1%. And again, tomorrow it might be positive. It's now, if I had that, I don't know if I would dump it, because if I looked at it, at the whole 7 days, it might be at minus 1%, but it might be up 9% at some point in the past 7 days. So I might, give it a minute to try and turn around, but I also might just dump that one and get something that's looking better. So just totally up to you guys. Just play with it. And I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised over the next few months. So, all right, everybody. And Drew, Todd, I appreciate you guys coming on here. I know everybody's so happy to hear about this and learn about this. Anything you guys want to say before we take off?
No, just thanks, and we're excited, and we'll be working hard on it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I will see you on the next webinar. Appreciate all of you. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening and or morning, depending on where you are in the world. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks, everybody.